Oh, all right. Yeah, Jesse Lee Peterson, part 15. I'm sure this is the right one. Well, we'll find out. Let's go.
It is known in the black community that most, not all, but most black people are racist toward white Americans.
You say it's known. What do you mean? Where's your basis for that?
They have been brainwashed over the last 50 years or so to believe that America is a racist society and that white folks are trying to hold them back. So I say to you, ask, and it will be given to you. Search, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Everyone who searches finds. Everyone who knocks will have the door open. What father among you, if his son asks for a fish, you will give him a snake? Or if he asks for an egg, you will hand him a scorpion? If you then, evil as you are, do you see yourself as being evil?
No, I don't see myself as evil, but I know I have some evil ways.
Yeah, but you don't know that you're evil.
No, I do. I guess I do, yeah.
You see yourself as evil?
I don't see myself as evil, but I know I have some evil ways that I need to overcome.
Why don't you see yourself as evil? You probably think you're so nice, huh?
No.
So you see some evil ways, but you don't see that your heart is evil.
I guess I don't see that my heart's evil. I don't feel that my heart's evil.
It feels like it's good?
Yeah, it feels like it's good.
Oh, I understand the setup.
Am I being set up by the devil right now?
Yeah. So do you think you could have evil ways, some evil ways, and have a good heart?
No.
Yeah. You
So
can't.
I'm evil.
Right. You're evil to the core. And that smile, it fools everybody until
No,
you get
I'm
them.
not. I just feel awkward now. Because I feel like I'm in a room full of good people.
No, you're not.
But I'm not, yeah.
That's right. That is a lie from the devil. Satan is like, oh, you just admitted you're evil. Now all these good people looking at you. He's lying to you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to make spaghetti? How do you make spaghetti?
I don't know. I know that I've never done it, but I think you're supposed to
Really?
borrow the water because cooking is a woman's thing. Why wouldn't white officers like black people?
Well, it deals with how you were brought up. One of the issues we have to look at is where are people coming from. If you come from another state and you're here to work in South Central LA,
I can already tell Jesse's going to have a field day with him. Not from what he's saying, but how he's saying it. This is going to be a good one. Let's enjoy.
we have to look at is where are people coming from. If you come from another state and you're here to work in South Central LA that's predominantly black and Hispanic, what do you know about blacks? And some of these people that I've worked with have never had a black friend in their life, and they're here to try to serve us in this community.
Really?
And it could just be.
Is there a different, if I'm a white officer, would I treat blacks differently than whites? I mean, would I not just treat everybody the same?
Some do.
I mean, isn't that the way to do it?
To treat
Everybody the same, every community the same.
You should treat every community, everybody.
So what do you mean that they don't understand blacks? What is there to understand? If you're going to treat everybody the same according to the law, what is it that they need to understand about blacks?
Well, there's a culture difference. One of the things I'll give you an example.
I've never actually thought about that, but that's a good point. If your job is to treat everybody the same, why do I need to know about your history? I don't need to know about anybody else's. I treat everybody. Yeah, that's an amazing point. Maybe I have heard someone put but yeah, not being put like that. Maybe someone said that before, but not quite. Yeah, but that's a great point.
For instance, I was working with a new police officer. It was a female, and she was white. And we were driving down Crenshaw. It was her first day in the community, and there's a guy, a Muslim, selling bean pies in the middle of the street. And she's like, what's he doing? We need to stop him and see what he's doing. And I said, well, he's selling bean pie. He's a Muslim. And her reaction was, well, what's that? What's a Muslim? What's a bean pie? It's just that's one of the things where it's just.
Is that a racial thing?
It's a cultural thing. It's cultural.
But would that consider racism?
It could be. I mean, we have a.
This black guy here is not. Watch his face.
Was, well, what's that? What's a Muslim? What's a bean pie? It's just that's one of the things where it's just.
Is that a racial thing?
It's a cultural thing. It's cultural.
But would that consider racism?
It could be. I mean, we have some other people
serious?
here, and they could answer that.
So if you don't understand a bean pie and you're a white person, then you could be a racist?
It's more. It's like I said. It's not a simple problem that we have, and we always try to simplify everything, and it's not simple. There's cultural differences. There's stereotypes. And we had a discussion earlier, and we were talking about cultural differences, and that was one of the things that we were going over is the difference between cultural, how important it plays.
I know that this young man want to say something here, but let me just ask this again. If I'm a white officer and I'm riding down the street with a black officer, and I see a black person standing on the corner selling a bean pie, and I didn't understand about it, I would be a racist.
Well, the question you would have to ask is, if you saw a white person standing in the same corner with a suit on, with something in their hand, would you be suspicious or not?
He's not suspicious of a bean pie. She just wanted to understand what is a bean pie.
Well,
yeah. What's your name?
I'm Taylor.
Okay.
What I found interesting was when he said her reaction to the individual selling the bean pie. What's he doing? We have to stop him. That is a cultural difference that she didn't understand. Now, she would have inquired more to Officer Bentley. Oh, well, what's he doing? What's a bean pie? Instead of, we got to stop him. Then that would have been a learning experience for her and not a off-the-cuff reaction. Say, if Officer Bentley had not been there and she was with another, say, Hispanic or Caucasian officer with less experience.
He said the problem was she didn't understand the bean pie situation.
Right, but she said we have to stop him.
So what was the racial aspect of that incident? Was it the fact that she said we have to stop him, or that she didn't understand the bean pie?
The problem is that she wanted to stop the person.
Oh, that was the racial aspect.
Exactly.
Well, I don't see that as racial. I see it as a cultural difference that could have been a situation that would have been totally blown out of proportion if he had not been there to explain it to her. As I was going to say, if she was with a white officer or someone with less experience, then they may have gone out and pulled this individual aside.
The other thing as well, what no one's, because he said, I'm pretty sure he said she was a rookie cop. So it's probably, do you know what I mean, one of, if not her first day out doing that. She probably just wants to get involved, do you know what I mean, over eager. Ready to overdo a job, do you know what I mean? Like, you want to get out when you realise that that's not what really being a police is, do you know what I mean? But she is kind of new. However, I don't believe she don't know what she's never heard of a Muslim. Do you know what I mean? I don't believe that for a second.
He, in turn, going to get defensive. Then the whole thing would have got blown out of proportion. You see people on Crenshaw and La Brea selling bean pies all the time.
Right. Is it against the law to sell bean pies on the corner?
It's against the law to stand in the middle of the street and do so.
And so that's what she was concerned about.
I think her concerns was a little more than that, because we see vendors in the middle of the street all the time.
I know, but is it possible that she was concerned that he was a person standing in the street?
No, she was
It's
not
not even possible.
No.
But
and see,
being an officer, though, doesn't she have the responsibility to enforce the law? And if some guy is standing in the street selling a pie and he shouldn't, wouldn't you be concerned about that as well?
Well, no, I wouldn't.
Really?
And she wasn't concerned either. And a lot of problems, one of the issues that we have when we're dealing with race, like I said, is an understanding of culture and people making assumptions from different.
So he just said she's not allowed to, the guy wasn't allowed to do that anyway. But still, it's because she is from a different culture. But he just said, no, you're not allowed to stand. Did I get that right?
A little more than that, because we see.
And pull this individual aside, he in turn going to get defensive. Then the whole thing would have got blown out of proportion. You see people on Crenshaw and La Brea selling bean pies all the time.
Right. Is it against the law to sell bean pies on the corner?
It's against the law to stand in the middle of the street and do so.
And so that's what.
That's mad. So the guy was doing something illegal. She wanted to stop him for it. But he thinks there's a little more to it. That doesn't make any sense.
You're concerned about?
I think her concerns was a little more than that, because we see vendors in the middle of the street all the time.
I know, but is it possible that she was concerned that he was a person standing in the street?
No, she was
It's
not
not
concerned.
even possible.
No.
But
and see, a lot
being
of
an officer, though, doesn't she have the responsibility to enforce the law?
And you just
And
said
if
it's
some guy is
illegal.
standing in the street selling a pie and he shouldn't, wouldn't you be concerned about that as well?
Well, no, I wouldn't.
Really?
And she wasn't concerned either. And a lot of problems, one of the issues that we have when we're dealing with race, like I said, is an understanding of culture and people making assumptions from different things.
But he's doing something illegal.
The problems with race and the racial relations is not something simple. You can't just look at one component and say that's racial.
Why don't you believe that it is something simple? Suppose that it is simple. And
That's like catching a black person stealing and going, oh, you're stealing. Yeah, but there's probably a little something more to why you assumed I'm stealing in the first place. It's like, well, yeah, maybe that aside, you are stealing, and that's against the law. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
can be resolved just like that.
Well, if it can't, because I haven't seen it. If it was that simple, we wouldn't have the problem.
Okay.
No, see, that's where you wrong. You
So
have more female experience
come
than
back.
the average woman.
Atticus,
you know?
come back.
No,
So are you saying affirmative action is not real?
Did you not hear me? You
No.
got the ears the size of a satellite.
What did you
Why
say?
can't you hear? I already answered that question.
What did you?
You
What
don't
was your
listen
answer?
when people talk to you. See, there we go. We
I'm
have
gonna
a
ask you one more
conversation,
time.
but you
What
don't
was your
have to listen
answer?
to me.
What was your
Your
answer?
ears as big as a satellite. And I told you. Did.
Atticus, what was your answer?
Did you just hear me say yes?
Goodbye. I appreciate your call. You're refusing to discuss the truth. Beta!
Hang yourself, nigga.
Beta! See how violent he is? Violent. Because they can't handle the truth. Affirmative action is real. Black people have been begging and making white people give them affirmative action. Now they're begging and trying to make them give reparation.
But that's when you're going to heal someone. That's a different thing.
When you're going to,
If you're going to heal a sick person, you're going to rebuke the devil to lead this person. You're going there for a specific job. But if you're praying for someone and you don't know their condition and you don't know what's going on, then you ask God to let his will be done. Because if you pray for that person and God answered that prayer, that person can end up killing you.
yeah. I mean, I've heard you say that before. I just didn't know the other side of
Let's
that.
say mama is sick and mama been so mean and you kind of wishing mama would die anyway, but mama's sick and now you feel guilty. Lord, please let mama stay alive. Heal mama. Lord, please, right? And then mama is healed. And as soon as she rises up out that bed, she come after you again. And you're like, Lord, kill mama. I was just playing.
Well, then, how do you pray for your enemy?
Let your will be done. Don't hate them. Love them.
And then you pray for your friend by trying to heal them.
If they ask for healing,
Okay.
whatever. Wrong.
Beta!
He still lacked character. When will he be getting his character?
I wouldn't say that he lacked character.
You wouldn't?
Everybody has skeletons in the closet.
Do you think that
If
a
you look
man?
deep enough, you would have a couple.
I got a lot of them, but
Right, yeah.
but when I was
You can't point the finger at someone else.
when I was developing those skeletons, I was a immoral man.
Right.
You know, I was like Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
But I've changed, and I don't have any skeleton in my closet.
You were saying
from
that
the
you're
point that I
100%
changed.
saint now?
I'm not saying that I'm a saint, but I don't do those things.
Yeah.
You know, my character is more important to me than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's crazy as well that Alpha Beta has become a right wing. Someone commented saying, "Oh, I didn't know you was one of them anti woke." First, yeah, I am anti woke. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. All of it. I don't care. All of it's ridiculous. But then they said Alpha Beta right wing something. I'm not right wing. But Alpha and Beta are watch. Do you know what I mean? Watch an animal documentary. Watch any documentary on anything in the world. The biggest star will have the more things surrounding it. The biggest tree will have will suck more minerals out of the ground than anything else around it. If you look at animals, look at a wolf. There's an alpha. The alpha howls, the betas come. Now I'll give you that alpha beta can change depending on circumstance. Like for example, if you had a typical alpha in a fight situation, the beta's going to be the beta. Do you know what I mean? The alpha's going to be the alpha. However, if you change the thing to a chess match, then obviously that's going to change. But the fact is, alpha beta exists. And like I said, you can see it in kids. Yeah, I was amazed that people actually think alpha beta is. I mean, they're not the only two either. You've got sigma, there's other ones, isn't there? Sigma. There's loads. But yeah, that's what I mean. People seem to think like things the world have understood for ages is right wing. Crazy. But yeah. Yeah, I can't believe the policeman thing. I didn't think it was going to be illegal for him to sell a bean pie, whatever it was he was selling. Yeah, I thought he'd just be allowed to do it. But he actually said it was illegal, but that she still needed to have some lesson about Muslims and black people. It's ridiculous, it's like, but she was right. Now, maybe you could say that, like I said, she might just be someone who's overdoing her job and wanting to stop someone for, do you know what I mean? Any little thing when you're in Crenshaw, do you know what I mean? We've all listened to 90s hip hop. When you're in Crenshaw, there's bigger fish to fry than that. But yeah, that's the reaction. My eyes are stinging like fuck. But yeah, that's the reaction. Sweet.